She thought she owned the sky. Turns out, Hawaii was just a speck in the storm of her own making. Hoa Nguyen stood on the cracked asphalt of Willow Creek's airstrip, her tactical vest gleaming under the flickering sodium lights, the word Hoa stitched in stark white across her chest. She wasn't a cop, not in any legal sense, but she wore the title like a crown. Her self-appointed authority as the neighborhood's gatekeeper, undisputed until tonight. The wind howled, carrying the distant rumble of thunder, as she planted herself in front of the small Cessna, its propellers still spinning down. Her arms were crossed, her jaw set, her eyes burning with the kind of righteous indignation that could make a saint second-guess their halo. She was here to stop what she called unauthorized air traffic, and no one, not the pilot, not the nurse, not the growing crowd, would tell her otherwise. The pilot, Marcus Reed, was a wiry man in his 40s, his flight jacket soaked from the drizzle that had started to fall. He'd seen a lot in his years ferrying medical evacuations, gunshot victims, heart attack patients, kids too sick to make it through the night, but nothing like this. "Lady, this is a medevac," he shouted, his voice cracking with desperation. "There's a kid in there, 8 years old, bleeding out from a ruptured appendix. You move, or I swear I'll taxi right through you." His hands were shaking, not from the cold, but from the sheer absurdity of the moment. Behind him, Nurse Clara Delgado cradled the portable ventilator, her face pale as she glanced back at the plane, where little Jamie Carter lay strapped to a stretcher. His life ticking away with every second, Hoa stood her ground. The crowd was growing now, a mix of airport staff, locals, and passers-by drawn by the shouting. Phones were out, red recording lights blinking like fireflies. "She's at it again," someone yelled, a voice thick with disgust. "Hoa's gonna kill that kid," another shouted, and the murmurs turned to a roar. Hoa didn't flinch. She'd faced crowds before, neighbors who didn't trim their hedges to her exact specifications, dog walkers who let their pets stray an inch past her invisible lines. She thrived on control, on the power of her clipboard and her self-drafted ordinances. But tonight, her crusade had collided with something bigger, a life-or-death mission she couldn't bully into submission. It started 6 months ago when Hoa, a 52-year-old real estate agent with a penchant for HOA rulebooks, declared herself the enforcer of Willow Creek's airspace. No one knew how she'd gotten the idea that she could regulate private airstrips, but Hoa had a knack for turning her whims into wars. She'd spent weeks filing complaints with the FAA, citing noise pollution and unvetted pilots as threats to the community's aesthetic integrity. When that failed, she took matters into her own hands, showing up at the airstrip with her vest and a megaphone, demanding landing permits she'd invented on her home printer. Most pilots ignored her, taxiing around her like she was a stray cone. But Marcus's flight was different. Jamie Carter, the boy inside, wasn't just a patient, he was the son of Willow Creek's beloved elementary school teacher. Sarah Carter. The town knew Jamie, loved Jamie, and now they watched in horror as Hoa's ego threatened to snuff out his chance at survival. "Step aside." Hoa Clara's voice cut through the wind, sharp and raw. She was a single mother herself, and the thought of Jamie's mother waiting at the hospital, helpless, fueled her fury. "You're not a cop, you're not God, and you're not saving anyone by standing there." Hoa's eyes narrowed, her lips curling into a smirk. "This airstrip is under my jurisdiction," she said, her voice calm but venomous. "No permit, no takeoff. I'm protecting this community from chaos." The crowd erupted, boos and curses drowning out the distant thunder. Someone threw a water bottle, missing Hoa by inches. She didn't blink. To her, this was her Alamo, her stand against a world that refused to bend to her will. Marcus took a step closer, his fist clenched. "You think this is about your stupid rules, that kid's dying? Hoa! You want his blood on your hands?" His voice broke, and for a moment, the crowd went silent, the weight of his words sinking in. Hoa's smirk faltered, but only for a second. She doubled down, pulling out her phone to live-stream the standoff. "I'm documenting this for the record," she declared, her voice rising. You're all witnesses to their defiance of lawful authority." The crowd roared back, a mix of rage and disbelief. "Lawful? You're a joke," a man shouted, his voice thick with years of resentment for HOA's petty tyrannies. The tension was electric, a powder keg waiting for a spark. Clara glanced at her watch 10 minutes until Jamie's condition could turn irreversible. She made a split-second decision, shoving past Marcus and storming toward Hoa. "Move!" she screamed, her hands shoving Hoa's shoulders. Hoa stumbled back, shocked, her phone clattering to the ground. The crowd gasped, then cheered, a primal release of pent-up frustration. But Hoa wasn't done. She scrambled to her feet, her face red with fury. "Assault!" she shrieked, pointing at Clara. "You'll pay for this, all of you will." At that moment, the storm broke. Rain poured down, soaking the tarmac, blurring the scene into a chaotic tableau. Marcus seized the chance, sprinting to the plane and climbing into the cockpit. Clara followed, slamming the door shut as the propellers roared back to life. Hoa lunged forward, pounding on the fuselage, her screams lost in the engine's growl. The crowd surged, some trying to pull her back, others filming the madness. "Let them go," a woman cried, her voice breaking with emotion. "For Jamie," another shouted, and soon the chant spread. "For Jamie! For Jamie!" The plane began to move, inching forward despite Hoa's futile attempts to block it. She stood her ground until the last second, then stumbled aside as the Cessna picked up speed, its wheels lifting off the tarmac just as lightning cracked the sky. The crowd erupted in cheers, a wave of relief and defiance washing over them. Who stood alone in the rain, her vest sodden, her authority shattered. Her live stream was still running, broadcasting her defeat to the world. Comments flooded in Karma's reel. "You're done, Hoa. Save Jamie, not your ego." Back at the hospital, Jamie made it to surgery just in time. The doctors worked miracles, and by dawn, he was stable, his mother weeping at his bedside. The news spread through Willow Creek like wildfire, and with it, the story of Hoa's stand and her fall. Social media exploded, clips of the confrontation racking up millions of views. Your Ho Cop trended for days, memes and think pieces dissecting her obsession with control. Some called her a villain, others a cautionary tale of unchecked power. A few diehards defended her, claiming she was protecting the community, but their voices were drowned out by the public's outrage. The aftermath was swift. The HOA board, pressured by petitions and protests, stripped Hoa of her self-proclaimed title. The FAA issued a statement clarifying that private citizens had no authority over airstrips, and the local sheriff's office warned Hoa of legal consequences if she interfered again. But the real punishment was social. Willow Creek turned on her. Neighbors who once feared her clipboard now ignored her. Their doors closed to her demands. Her real estate business tanked, her signs defaced with spray-painted messages, "No Hoa Zone." She became a pariah, her name synonymous with hubris. Yet something shifted in the town. Jamie's survival wasn't just a medical victory, it was a spark. People started questioning other petty rules, other self-appointed gatekeepers. The HOA meetings, once sparsely attended, were packed with residents demanding transparency, fairness, a voice. Clara, hailed as a hero, started a community fund for medical evacuations, ensuring no one would face what Jamie did. Marcus, quieter in his heroism, kept flying, his plane a symbol of hope over Willow Creek skies. Ha, for her part, never apologized. She moved to a neighboring town, her vest packed away, her megaphone silent. Rumors swirled that she was trying to start a new HOA, but no one cared enough to confirm. Her moment had passed, her power broken by a community that found its strength in unity, not control. The storm that night had washed away more than rain. It exposed the fragility of ego, the power of collective will, and the simple truth that one life Jamie's was worth more than any rule book. Willow Creek learned that lesson the hard way, but they learned it well. And somewhere, in the quiet of recovery, Jamie Carter smiled, unaware of the war fought in his name. This is just one story of a community pushed too far. Share yours, stand up, speak out, and let's rewrite the rules together.